don't know, then I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and get them points. Go ahead and get them points. If you have no idea what season that you're experiencing, then you way behind on the eight ball whenever it comes towards a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say. Now, if you listen to my message with the carnal mind, you're not going to get anything out of what I'm saying. If you listen to my message with the religious mindset, you may get a couple of things, you know what I'm saying, here and there or whatnot. But if you listen to it with a spiritual mindset, you're going to be able to unlock certain puzzle pieces to your particular board. You heard me? So it just depends on where you're at towards where we actually going. Because at the same time, if you have no idea what I'm already talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about already, my baby, in that world, there's 99% of the people that don't know who they are. And if that isn't frightening enough, or if that isn't something that you've never thought about, my baby, it's going to be a struggle. So here's the situation. For my community, my babies, I love y'all. You heard, man. Y'all keep me excited. Y'all keep me so motivated. I was on so many lives today. You heard, man. My sister, I know Renisha in here. Where's she at? I know Renisha is in here. Renisha started it all off. Coach So, she went hard in the paint. You heard, man. We in this there. Here's the situation. So I got another sister that I want to support at 8 o'clock. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into this action because I got something for y'all that's special. On today, yesterday, last night, I don't know what the spirit did on last night. We didn't even get a chance to get into Proverbs 1. But tonight, we're going to go ahead and get into Proverbs 2. So let's go ahead and check out Proverbs 2. We're going to come out of the Amplified version tonight. You heard me? It says, the pursuit of wisdom brings security. The pursuit of wisdom brings security. My son, I mean, he's talking to me, y'all. Watch this. If you will receive my words and treasure my commandments within you, so that your ear is attentive to skillful and godly wisdom, and apply your heart to understanding, seeking it conscientiously and striving for it eagerly. Yes, if you cry out for insight and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek skillfully and godly wisdom as you would silver, and search for her as you would hidden treasures, then you will understand my reverent fear of the Lord, that is worshiping him and regarding him and as truly awesome, and discover the knowledge of God. I'm going to stop right here. So we're going to do 5. We're going to do another 5. We're going to do another 5 because I got a story for you. Earlier, I was on a live and it brought so much. I think it was Renisha's live. It had to be Renisha's live because Soul Live, there's something else that came from Soul Live. So on Renisha live, do y'all remember when y'all first got TikTok? Those who knew that they were coming here to change the narrative, at that point, when I first came to TikTok, they told me that I needed 1,000 followers in order to be able to go live. So at that particular point in time, it was these certain creators that were having these different rooms, these follow for follow rooms, or whatever the particulars may be. Well, long story short, I heard or I read in the comment section of a gentleman that mentioned he's following 10,000 people and he needs to take a few people off his list so that way he can follow more. So let me ask y'all something. When it comes to social media, how do you even see this? What type of process do you actually think of whenever you come to social media? Because if you were like me back then, my mindset told me, let me go ahead and use this tool to be able to go ahead and go live. But as soon as I get the opportunity to start going live, it's time for me to go ahead and pull these roots, these old plants out of my particular garden. Have you been doing like Big Mama, going inside your garden, pulling out roots out of your particular garden? Because if you haven't, I need you to understand something quick, fast, and in a hurry. You are connected, because I'm talking to my content creators. You are connected to a bunch of profiles that don't have nobody on them. So when you do go live, what happens is you'll see some type of alert comes up talking about you talking, you're going against the guidelines or whatever the situation is, and you can't figure out what's going on. My baby, it's one of them little people that's in the building that's not saying nothing. To all of y'all that just sit on these lives, y'all don't say nothing, y'all don't tap the screen, y'all don't share no gifts, y'all don't share none of the particular information, and y'all be at the top of the list, ain't never said nothing. Go to that profile. It's an individual that sat on this live for at least an hour and a half, didn't say nothing, didn't comment about nothing, and those individuals, those particular profiles, you have no idea who's the individuals that's sitting behind that profile. So my babies, listen, I need you to go through your garden. You heard me? My garden, I go through my garden on Mondays. So I consider it as an income producing activity where I go into my garden, I find different weeds. I find these profiles that only have pictures on it. I find these profiles that only have voiceovers on them. I find these profiles that have these children doing demonic dances. I find these profiles that have just reshares and there's no actual content from these particular individuals. I need you to take the people off your follow list. Well, you just stop following them, because I'm going to show you why. Here on TikTok, whenever you reshare somebody's information, it goes to everybody's FYP. So think about it. The stuff that you're watching on your FYP is coming from somebody that's interested in that content that's in your particular garden. So if you think about it, you have these individuals that's standing outside every time you ride out to go to work, that's just standing in your garden. You ain't talking to them at all. And you're allowing these individuals to send you restaurant suggestions. Think about it. What are they actually feeding you? What have you been fed on your FYP whenever you come to this particular platform? You ever notice how they got stuff? What is this? Why? Look at the very bottom, at the little corner around here on your FYP. You'll see who it was that reshared that particular piece of content. If you see what they're into and it isn't feeding your spirit, I don't recommend just sliding up. I recommend touching that little name that did the reshare and you move that particular weed out your particular garden, because at the same time, that's feeding you, my baby. That's the reason why you keep staying stuck, because you keep seeing social media as one way when at the same time is seeing that one way because you're the one that's got it like that. You have total control over the individuals that you follow on every one of these particular platforms. But at the same time, everywhere you follow the same thing, there's people who, Lord have mercy, they have one piece of content, one little picture that they post on every one of their platforms. And sometimes it'd be a situation where, you know what I'm saying, I rock with somebody. I'm gonna share their information. I rock with them, but they be wanting me to follow them everywhere. My baby, I don't need to follow you everywhere, because if I follow you everywhere, I'm gonna get to see how you operate when you're away from this particular site. I appreciate you, so you heard, man. I'm gonna get the chance to see how you operate from this particular site, and I'm telling you, stop putting your you got to think about it. If you have Facebook and you have Instagram and you have TikTok, you have 3 gardens. Some people got LinkedIn. I appreciate y'all. You heard me. Some of y'all have LinkedIn like me. You know what I'm saying? I do some business over there on LinkedIn too. That's where the grown people at. You heard my business? It's like a different type of club over there. Like Coach Soul was talking about how her ebook was 10 to get in. I said today it's 10 to get in, and you can't wear fake eyelashes if you coming in the club. You heard, man? So if you think about it, you have 3 different gardens, and in those gardens, you're putting the same seeds in all of your gardens. My baby, why wouldn't you show your uniqueness? Why wouldn't you, you know what I'm saying, put your tomatoes on this one? You know what I'm saying? Put you some oranges in the back, because you know what I'm saying, your baby like them oranges. So put the oranges over there in the back. And whatever you like them Honey Crisp apples. I like the Honey Crisp apples. I like them big apples. You heard? Put the Honey Crisp apples in a whole nother particular garden, and don't let them do all that. What is the actual benefit? Really think about it. If you post your same picture everywhere and you're being seen by the same people everywhere, chances are you're gonna start to say, man, it feels like I get more interaction over here on TikTok. Well, yeah, that's what you'll do because TikTok is a whole new world. See, the other people on the other platforms, Facebook and oh man, I appreciate that. You heard me? Facebook and Instagram. If any one of y'all that I know that I really rock with, y'all don't go live on none of them other two sites because trust me, them people don't deserve you over there. You heard me? For what you're doing here is where you need to be. You heard me? This is a brand new world. This is a world where you can finally come and be yourself. You got to think about it. Some of y'all are just meeting some of us. We've been looking for you too, but you don't even know that we was looking for you, but we always been looking for you. But at the same time, there's some people that like to chill in the back. They don't want to be out and exposed. They're going to make themselves believe that they didn't know that they came to change a particular narrative in this particular life. And it don't matter what age that they are. Let's keep going to the word, y'all. Let's keep going to the word. We're on Proverbs chapter 2, verse 6. It says, "For the Lord gives skillfully and godly wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He stores away sound wisdom for the righteous." Y'all know who the righteous is? The righteous are those who are in right standing with him. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity. You all know what integrity is? Those who of honorable character and moral courage. Those of honorable character and moral courage. Verse 8, he guards the paths of justice and he preserves the way of his saints. Y'all know who the saints are? The believers. So if you're not a believer, my baby, we understand, but at the same time, we love what we do. You heard me? Verse 9, it says, then you will understand righteousness and justice in every circumstance, not just few a circumstance, in every circumstance. Then you will understand righteousness and justice in every circumstance and integrity with every good path. Verse 10, for skillfully and godly wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Story number 2. I believe it was me and my sister Kimberly. We was holding a conversation earlier today. And within that conversation, there was so much wisdom because she taught me so. You got, listen, some of y'all need to holler at Kimberly. Look, she just did the FYP. Y'all need to holler at Kimberly because Kimberly owe us a puzzle piece. You heard me? And I'm gonna tell y'all, she gave me one today, and I was like, ooh, I like it. And then we continued the conversation, and I was able to give her back a puzzle piece of what she gave me. Now, Kimberly was breaking down a situation. She was telling me that in order to grow a specific plant, once it first blooms, you're supposed to cut off the first particular bud for it to continue to grow and grow more. And I was like, man, hey, listen, I've never tried to grow anything, but it was something on the lines of that. You heard me? Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but it was something like that. So I said, man, you just taught me something. I had no idea about it. But then we continued to go into conversation, and the Lord revealed to me that there's a multitude of individuals that are going through a spirit, but that particular spirit is the spirit of nothing ever changed. What? The spirit of nothing ever changed. Watch this. If you've been following me for quite some time, you have the understanding that I didn't come in here to fit in, my baby. You heard me. I didn't come here to fit in. The scriptures that I talked to you about, I'm telling you, we didn't come in. It doesn't just apply to me. It applies to everybody. My baby, I didn't come here to fit in. You heard me? So watch this. Wherever you was born, whatever your birth certificate says, where is that? Are you still in the place that you were born in? Did you never move from the place that you were born in? In that decision to stay in the area that you were born in, was it a decision that you made, or it was a decision that somebody else made for you? Because if you think about it, you remember Big Mama was the one that was in charge of everybody. Big Mama was the one that had everybody going to church. So if you think about it, wherever you started going to church at as a kid, if you never left, that means you're still going to that same church as an adult that you got your kids at now. So watch this. What has ever changed in that situation? Because if you think about it, Scripture says that he knew you intimately before you were born. Before he placed you in your mother's womb, he set you apart. So you came to live a set apart life, but you never left your comfort zone. So at a point in time, you started going to school. At a point in time, you graduated from high school. At a point in time, some people went to college and some people decided to move back home after college. Was that your idea? Or better yet, there's some that went to college, but they went to college right down the street. Was that your idea, or is that a life that was given to you? Because if you think about it, those characters that was in your story from the time that you were born to the time that you are now, some of them characters are no longer in your story. So if you never left home, at no point, you got to think about it. Some people leave, they go on vacation or whatever, and they come right back to the comfort zone. Let me ask you, my baby, what has changed? If you think about it, if you've been going to the same church all your life, what if you're not even assigned to that pastor? Have you ever considered? Do you still believe that just because it's that church, you're supposed to be assigned to that church? That's not how that goes. How many churches are there in your particular area? Because I remember where I'm from, they only had 2 different churches, unless you wanted to drive out. And at a point in time, we ain't had no car. You heard me? So we had to operate with what we had, but at the same time, we in 2025. So if I had to operate like this back in the 90s, and you're operating like this in the 2020s, you heard me? What has changed? Who can come into your small town or into your area that you don't already know? And those that are brand new, you got to understand, ladies, when a new dude come to the church, you heard me, how that make you feel? Y'all make y'all nervous around now. For all the little ladies that be in the church, they got that spirit of lust. They trying to find a girl. Who is that? Who, especially if you have, oh Lord, girl, who is that? Who is that? Oh, that's you remember how old it was? Somebody was saying it earlier. It had to be Coach Soul now. No, it wasn't Coach Soul. It was Prophetess Yolanda. She was saying how when it gets to a point to where you're starting to level up in the Lord, there's going to be people that's going to come around and they're going to be like, oh, that's just Tommy over there. He ain't. You remember who he. You remember how he was. You heard him. Don't even trip. Think about it. To my ladies, it's gonna be the same thing to y'all. Some of y'all gonna have some homegirls that's gonna be hating once they start to see you doing your thing on TikTok, or start to see you doing your thing in your particular community, to the point to where they're going to try to make you dumb back down in order to have them around. But at the same time, my baby, I can't dumb myself down to be able to hold a conversation with you, especially if you can't keep up with that particular conversation. But anyway, back to the situation at hand, you're operating out of the spirit of nothing ever changed. Some of these characters done left your story. Now all of a sudden it became, well, I don't want my children to have to change friends, so that's the reason why I'm going to stay until one of them graduate. Well, my baby, think about it. You didn't want to change friends, so all you doing is repeating the cycle of nothing ever changing. Okay, them children, every time that door open to the room, them children like they're getting taller and taller. You heard me? And at the same time, let's say it get to a point to where that child and got into middle school, then got into high school, and then you act like you didn't know that 3 years in or 4 years in, that child was going to get ready to graduate, and you said that they was going to live a better life than you. But at the same time, you only treated them with the same intent that your parents treated you with. Y'all didn't get an opportunity. We didn't have that type of money to be doing this and doing that. My baby, you got so much. I keep telling you, my baby, listen, you got unlimited potential. You heard me. You got unlimited potential, and at the same time, you're not doing nothing with your opportunities. We have no idea how many opportunities. We got 15, 16 people on here. I don't know how many more opportunities you got, my baby. As your brother, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how many opportunities you got, but at the same time, I care about you. You heard me? Now, I'm not talking to my sisters. I know my sisters, they on board. They doing their thing. You heard me? But I'm talking about the other sisters that we trying to get on board, that we're trying to show you that there's another way. You heard me? It don't pay for you to keep coming to these lives and you not really, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. If you can get off a live that just went a strong 2.5 hours, and there's no notes you took. So listen, my baby, I got all kind of notes. You heard? So if you can come off alive and not take no notes, my baby, do you realize what's happening? All you doing is treating this like you treat church. Think about it. You go in church, you ain't got no Bible. You go in church, you don't even have the Bible app. You up there, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you use. You got to think about it. My baby, or better yet, you have your Bible. You open up to the chapter that you need or whatever the situation is, and that Bible stay in the car for the rest of the week. My baby, you ain't hiding. You ain't hiding nothing. Anyway, let's keep going. We on verse 11. Discretion will watch over you. Understanding and discernment will guard you. Verse 12. To keep you from the way of evil and an evil man, from the man who speaks perverse things, to keep you. Let's go back to number 11. Discretion will watch over you. Understanding and discernment will guard you. The understanding and discernment will guard you to keep you from the way of an evil man, from the man who speaks perverse things. Are you hearing this, ladies? So my other sisters, to keep you from the way of an evil and keep you from the way of evil and an evil man, from the man who speaks perverse things. Have you been introduced to a man that speaks perverse things? From those who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in ways of darkness, who find joy in doing evil and delight in perversity of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. My baby, I know some of y'all like them hood dudes. You heard? That's what he talking about. That's exactly what he talking about. A man of, you heard what I said. You heard me. Some of y'all like them hood dudes. This the Bible, Proverbs 2, my baby. Just go back and look at it. Where we at? Proverbs 2. And now, my question, matter of fact, let me look. We had 19 people. Let me see if we got some men in here. It don't look like we got okay, we got Deacon Mario, my brother. It's just me and you. We're going to talk about it. You heard me? Matter of fact, let me know if you're still in here. Is Deacon Mario still in here? If you're in here, my brother, just put a 1 in the chat. I got something for you. Watch this. If you're not in here, I'm going to just talk to my sisters right quick. All right. Deacon Mario must not be in the building, so my sisters, watch this. Okay, cool. Mario, check this out, brother. If you never accepted your call from the Lord, that's between you and the Lord, brother. I'm not here to judge you. You heard me, but I'm holding conversation with you. Watch this. Because the women going to love it. They like that type of stuff. Watch this. It's my first time meeting you, my brother. Let's say we out, we sitting at Cheddar's at the bar or something like that. So we're going to just call it what it was. So my question to you, brother, is, what's this new little God that you're putting before the Almighty? Think about it. As you were a kid, they told you that in order to be a man, you had to have sex. So a multitude of dudes that we know still operate in that spirit. And in that particular world, they made us believe about something that had absolutely nothing to do with what we were about to come and do. Now, if you think about it, the information that you got on behalf of that situation, it came from a brother, it came from an uncle, it came from a daddy, it came from one of your friends. Because at the same time, I ask these women from time to time, did you break your virginity? Did you make the choice to do it, or did somebody influence you to do it? Now, same thing with you, brother. Were you influenced, or Chances are, my brother, you got to think you was influenced because the little dudes that we was hanging with back in the day, the ball had stories. We never had a story. Or better yet, you may have been the main dude that had the stories, and then you influenced them to actually go ahead and make that particular transition. But check this out. What new little God? Because you got to understand, whatever little woman that you're dealing with right now, and you don't have a relationship with the Father, that means that's your new God. And the Bible says we're not supposed to be double-minded, and we're not supposed to serve two masters. So you don't even have to comment no more, my brother. Just take it at what it is. Now I'm gonna get off of you and let me go to them women. So my babies, my sisters, y'all know I love y'all. Y'all heard it before. I should have went with him second. But watch this. So, what new little God to my little single ladies that's out there? What new little God that you putting before the Almighty? Because at the same time, this is a trend that you've been operating in, which is another spirit that you're allowing to keep you from, that's keeping you bound within your particular relationships with others. You heard me? There's a multitude of different spirits that are connected to your bloodline. And in that connection with your bloodline, that's just one of them. You remember, in that particular situation, if you're not accepting the Lord as your Savior, that means you walking around with at least seven spirits. You heard me? So one of your particular spirits, you got to understand that particular spirit is basically creating an avatar. You have an avatar for that one spirit, and that's the one that always leads you to get your heart broken. Because in that world, you still don't understand that you can only connect with a familiar spirit. So in that connection with a familiar spirit, you make yourself believe that you've never experienced this spirit before. Think about it. I need you to hear yourself. If you ever tell yourself, I feel like I never met him before, I think he's different. My baby, how can he be different if you still give him the cookie? What makes him different if you still went through the same mode of operation every single time? You got the blueprint to how you operate. And if that never changes, it doesn't change because you are part of that contract with the familiar spirit in your family. Boy has to be this and girl has to operate like that. You can't do nothing outside of the familiar spirit while you sitting in that particular world. Think about it. So, who's your new little God that you're putting before the Almighty? You don't have to answer it, my baby. You heard me? You don't have to answer it. But at the same time, there's no men or males in transition in that life that's going to teach you this. So I'm happy that you're here. You got to understand, about 1,000 years ago, the Lord knew that you was going to find this particular live and hear a different type of information. See, there's people in the chat that's putting hashtag FYP for my brand new people. Listen, this is all I'm asking. The Bible says that asking you shall receive. Knock and the door will be opened unto you. So the only ask that I'm asking is, if I say something that makes you think differently, you think about it a whole different way, that's all I needed. Go ahead and put hashtag FYP in the chat. You heard me? That's all I need from you, because all it's going to do is build that little number up. You heard me? But anyway, I'm going to leave y'all alone on that because I got something juicy. You heard, man? Proverbs 2 verse 16 says to keep. Watch this. Where my brother at again? What his name was? Deacon Mario. Watch this, brother. Proverbs 2 verse 16 says, to keep you from the immoral woman, from the seductress with her flattering words. 17, who leaves the companion husband of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. 18, for her house leads down to death, and her paths lead down to, and her path leads to the dead. None who go to her return again, nor do they regain paths of life. Oh, brothers, hey, Mario, I sure hope you still in here, my brother. What's this? So you will walk in the way of good men, that is, those of personal integrity, moral courage, and honorable character, and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright, those who are in right standing with God, will live in the land of, and those of integrity who are blameless in God's sight will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous shall be forcibly uprooted and removed from it. Lord have mercy. My brother. Hey, Deacon, I hope you're in here, my brother. Because this time I'm talking to the ladies first. I might not even be able to get to you, my brother, but check this out. This is about to be something severe. To my sisters, my baby, listen, before I start, I care about you. You heard me. I really care about. I'm only child. You heard me. I ain't got no sisters. You heard? I love to have. This is the only reason I went to my daddy's funeral, just to see if I had a little sister. I just want you to know that. You didn't know that. I'm trying to give you some of me. You heard me. I'm giving it to you. Watch this. For my sisters that are just saved, to my sisters that are not saved, my baby, listen. If you're in a single season at this moment, I need you to understand something. Every new male can only be a male in transition in that particular world. Because whatever you're struggling with, that struggle comes from your bloodline. To the point to where you only have access to other individuals that has that same struggle in their bloodline. You follow me? No, some of y'all not following me. I need you to think about it. In your whole situations, relationship after relationship, you've always found another familiar spirit until you accepted the Lord as your Savior. Just like I was telling my sisters on behalf of yesterday, my baby, if you was married before, remember when you was married, some of y'all didn't even get married in the church when y'all got married before. So you ain't got married, you wasn't even in a church, you had no relationship with the Lord. You only went off of what Big Mama said. Big Mama said, my baby, just pray about it and the Lord gonna take care of it. So here you are, you just praying, but you ain't got no relationship. But now in this season, you have a particular relationship. But in that season, I need you to understand that every woman in their life that had her name hyphenated basically manipulated that man to marry her. Because not only was she in the midst of one of her whole seasons, she was also in the midst of one of those other particular seasons as well. Was she like a Delilah? Was she like a Eve or something like that? You have to understand, chances are, to my brothers, hey, watch this, or my sisters, watch this. The men that you met that it didn't work out with, that you struggled to get rid of, you know that dude, you know the relationship wasn't working out, but at the same time you were still trying to mess with him, regardless of what your mom and them said, regardless of what, you know what I'm saying, your homegirls were saying. You were so struck on that particular one individual to the point to where nobody has ever told you that the reason why you were stuck on that individual is because y'all both have family bloodlines that are tied to each other. Y'all have the same spirit, and in that same spirit, chances are one of y'all parents or one of their parents was like a pimp or something like that, or his mama used to be like a Jezebel or something like that. And then when you met them, you got to remember, you ain't never asked what were their generational curses, because you didn't know yours at that particular point in time. You was maybe hearing something here and there or whatever the deal is, but you never focus on that. Just like right now, you don't focus on your generational curses because you don't believe that you came to break them. And when you don't believe that you came to break them, it's going to just be what it is. That's the reason why early in the week, I asked y'all to come here with some mature 20-year-olds. And we still ain't came with none, because there's a difference. Some of y'all don't want somebody else to be healed before you. So that's the reason why you wouldn't have somebody to come here to maybe get healed before you. And then you're going to have to really go through that. You're going to have to be like, well, man, it's crazy. I sat here for sessions after sessions and it just didn't click for me. But then they came in. You got to understand, my particular calling is for the youth. So as soon as I get the opportunity to get at the youth, I'm telling you, they're going to change. You got to think that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And there's some of these little women out here, fellas, they think that you can't see them. My baby, I see what's going on. I see that some of y'all still looking at me in the flesh. And at the same time, you'll still try to hold a conversation with me when I know how your spirit operates. It was something that used to be, well, it's something that's connected to my bloodline. But at the same time, I do not identify by the stuff that's connected to my bloodline. And I see that you have access to that particular spirit. And I don't need nothing to do with that. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. But at the same time, you got to get to a point in a place where you're allowing the Lord to provide, to the point to where nothing else can get in the way. So, ladies, have y'all ever ran into a situation, or better yet, just think back, where there was a guy that was trying to do everything and anything to try to get your attention? Make sure that you on their mind some way, somehow, throughout the day, and that never showed you anything. You just thought, oh my God, he's just so thoughtful. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking about, no, my baby, that's not what that is. That's a demon. That was a demon that was making sure that they can try to get connected to you to make sure that you don't accept your call. My baby, that's where you at right now. For those of y'all that's not saved, for those of y'all that just go to church, don't have no relationship, to those of y'all that don't even go to church, that's just operating in the wide path, my baby, life is like Tetris. When you fit in, you disappear. So where are you fitting in at? You're not changing. There's no change. You're in that spirit of nothing ever changed. And in that spirit of nothing ever changed, all you have been allowing is the date to change. And every time them children come out the room, they're getting taller and taller. But at the same time, you may be listening to the conversation right now. My baby, I get you. I need you to understand something. You're not saved. I already know how you operate. You'll probably tell me you single, but at the same time, they got about 2 or 3 dudes that can still keep your attention. I still got your attention. So at what point does that stop? Because at the same time, if you think about it, there was a big movement that all men are dogs and all this. And my baby, they got some dogs on the other side too. You heard me? Think about it. Your mama was one of them. But nobody holding them conversations. In your story, your mama still got clean hands. But at the same time, she has something to do with the life that you live in right now, because you watch the tree not do nothing, and now you're the branch not doing nothing, and you're killing the seed. And you still don't know what's the generational curses in your life. The reason why I can physically call out one of those spirits is because I've done the work way before y'all met me. If I tell you that you got a spirit, my baby, you got to think you're going to deny that particular spirit because you saying that you're the curse breaker, but you operating in a spirit that I can see and you can't even tell what the situation is. My baby, who is that fair to? Because if you think about it, think of your connections. What was the life that your mother lived? What was the life that your father lived or are still living? Because, maybe y'all still have these particular people still in your lives. So you need to do a deep dive on something that you're missing, because you got to understand, let's say you got one of these titles, okay? In that title, you got to remember, you used to be in a relationship. In that relationship, what was the generational curses over their family that nobody was able to see? Because you got to think about it. When we were growing up, my grandmother was single. My grandfather had married another woman, or whatever the particulars may be. You have to think, these individuals, let's say, for instance, you have a situation where Papa was gone and Big Mama was still here. They only told you what Papa was like. They never told you what Papa was doing. So all these years, you just thinking, man, yeah, they showed me pictures of him back in the day or whatever the deal is, and you don't know that your grandfather was molested or something like that, or your grandmother was molested when she was a kid that nobody ever knew nothing about. You can't go ask your parents because they supposedly don't know, because you got to understand, this is the reason why I'm trying to encourage you to get on here and start telling your story, my baby. Because at the same time, if you don't tell your story, somebody else going to tell it and they're going to water it down. Think about it. If you've been touched as a young girl and you're still walking around with that particular pain, my baby, somebody going to water down that conversation for you. And you've been holding on to that for X amount of years. So think about it. Which route do you really want to take? You want to tell your story first, or you want to allow somebody else to tell it? Because healing is going to be in telling your story. Because you're going to learn how to tell your story, especially when you're around some people, my baby, you're telling that story wrong. Because this is, look at it right here. Look at it this way. What's the difference now? Well, you know what I'm saying? My baby, the more to the story is the devil been after you since you was a kid. That's basically all I'm telling you. And just think about it. Life was like it was. Your life didn't change on behalf of that spirit of nothing ever changing. Because those characters are gone. What has changed since then? What has changed since your mama done been gone? You still operating the same way. You probably moved into the house that your mama them had all this time. So you ain't never had to move. How did that work out? Is life giving you what you want? Because if your answer is yes, then hey, my baby, I ain't got nothing for you. But if you know that the life is not giving you what you want, life can't give you what you want, because if you think about it, we're supposed to live the life of Jesus. You never thought about that? Why would he come? Why would they make a story of a multitude of chapters, and he was the sole man that came through all of these particular chapters until the crucifixion at the end? Why would you think you would just come here to play small? Why would you think that you would come here, you would become a grandmother, you would stay single for the last set of years, you would leave with all the information that you got in your years, and what the family's supposed to do? Think about it. Anybody that still got their big mama, I'm telling you, man, look, put Big Mama on the screen. Put Big Mama, make a YouTube page with her. Ask her some strategic questions and let that woman tell her story, because at the same time, you're going to try to tell her story for you. There was one of my little homegirls from way back in the day. She reached out to me on Instagram to let me know that her grandmother passed. Now, back in the day, it was way back in the day, that was her dog. You heard me? She wasn't going nowhere without her grandmother. She was taking care of grandmother way back then. Her grandmother was sick all them years ago, and Big Mama just finally passed. I said, my baby, this is what I need for you. I said, focus on the good times, because if you focus on the bad times, what makes you different from everybody else? You came to stand out in this world. You heard me? Just like, for instance, to my sisters, listen. My baby, let me tell you about something. Let me tell you a story. Let me get close. You heard me? Let me hit my water right quick. Watch this. My baby, here's the deal. For those of y'all that's just meeting me, my sisters know, my baby, don't think that I'm trying to get at you with this type of conversation. My baby, this is how I talk. You heard me? Yeah, I'm from Louisiana. No, I'm not from New Orleans. I'm from a small country town called Cecilia. I'm not in Cecilia. I'm here in the DFW. I see I can get y'all out the way. I'm gonna hurry y'all up. You're gonna probably try to ask me that. Watch this. My baby, the Lord told me that he broke the mold after he created you. You heard me? He broke the mold after he created you. But at the same time, look at the type of dudes that you're choosing to waste your time. That you're choosing to waste your time. Because at the same time, if you think about it, you've never changed. The reason why you've never changed is because you live in the wrong life. Yes, you live in the wrong life. You didn't just come here to be no baby mom. You heard me? That's not what God sent you down here for. The Lord sent you down here to love on you. You heard me? Think about it. The love that you got from your parents. Some of y'all ran into situations where, you argue with your parents or whatnot. There's a father that can be your father and your mother. That's how he's designed. He's all powerful. He's the he's the beginning and the end. You heard me? And you choose to tell the stories that you tell of men that didn't deserve you. Because my baby, every male in transition that you gave your time to was only good enough for the broken you. That's some of my sisters, they don't talk about that portion of it. All the dudes that y'all had, some of y'all have been married 2-3 times, whatever they did, but the ball didn't deserve you. Even when you was married the last time, because you didn't have the mindset that you have now in that relationship, in that marriage. None of them saying none of that, but I'm peeping. I'm seeing what's going on. I see what the situation is. I'm loving these particular testimonies that's coming around here. But back to you, my baby. They got a man that's out here that created you, and you don't want to have nothing to do with him because you want everything before him. You have everything before him. You won't even put yourself in a self-isolation season and then tag his name to it. And while you're in self-isolation, you don't even talk to him. You don't even read about him. You heard me? But like Coach So said earlier, if that man call, you're gonna put your spend a night bag set up. You're gonna have everything all set up on behalf of somebody that you're going to waste your time again with. My baby, if you're currently talking to somebody, if you're not in a relationship, even if you're in a relationship, if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, you're laying next to a familiar spirit. And in that familiar spirit is tied, those bloodlines are tied, those trauma bonds are tied, and that individual is going to be an extension of your family to make sure that you don't accept your call. It's no secret. That's the reason why all your relationships ended the same way. Because there was no change in you, and there's not going to be a change in them. Because I need you to understand that you operate off of an FM station. You heard me? What does that mean, an FM station? Think about it. When you turn your car on, what come on? One of your favorite FM stations. But if you hit the AM, all that distortion that's going to come out. As soon as you leave your car, you go into AM. Every time you're around all kind of people, you go into AM. But when you're around familiar spirits, you're back in FM. You only focused on what they're doing. Those are your downfall in that particular life. Now, when you come to conversations like this, you try to come into that FM again. I mean, AM a little bit or whatever the deal is, but you're trying to hear. You want to have the understanding. That's the reason why you keep coming. But at the same time, you're not absorbing the information because of your connections. You can't hear what I'm saying because you're connected to them familiar spirits. As soon as you unplug, because at the same time, nobody told you that every relationship, every person that you've had sex with, there's an umbilical cord. To my sisters that's out here, when you got pregnant the first time, what separated you from your child? The umbilical cord. So in the spirit realm, you're connected to the umbilical cord by the individuals that you're married to in the spirit on behalf of the operation of sex. That's the reason why sex is supposed to be sacred between a husband and a wife. But at the same time, you're trying to act like a wife to somebody that don't deserve you, somebody that is only good enough for the broken you. How much time you gonna continue to break you, my baby? You heard me? Think about it. I'm your brother and I love you, but at the same time, you don't. I don't need you to tell me that you love me back. You heard me? I'm just telling you I'm giving you the God's love. You understand me, my baby? The Lord told me that He broke the mold after He created you. My baby, you understand how unique that is? You understand that as soon as you get to that understanding that, my baby, you're unique, that means your vibration change at that point. Think about it. You up here riding, being around some dudes that just, think about it. What gets you excited about those dudes in that world? Think about it. You're going to attract what you are. That person is going to be a mirror of you. That person is going to operate in the same way of the last guy, because the Lord is finally going to step in and make sure that he treats you how you treat the relationship with him. My baby, you can't run from it. The only thing you can do is play like you're crazy and get married to one of them dudes. And then now you're in a situation when you finally wake up. Now you're trying to figure out, do I need to leave him? What should I do? And all this, you got to understand, if you hyphenated your name in that world, you manipulated that man into marrying you. Because at the same time, look at how much you had to go through. You got into a marriage when you was already married to other individuals, is what I'm telling you. And you brought all them individuals into that marriage, and he brought all them other individuals into that marriage. And my baby, y'all have never been together just between y'all. It's not designed like that until you go into the spirit realm and you ask God to break all those particular unbiblical cards. Just think about it. Some of y'all are you consider yourself as overweight, but you're trying to lose weight, and you'll probably go outside. You'll probably go try to walk your mile tomorrow, and then the next day you won't even go back out there because you want that right now particular access. When in actuality, my baby, you going outside, but you going outside with all these unbiblical cards on behalf of everything you did all your particular life. But which one of your homegirls are telling you this? My baby, whatever the scale said, that's not what it really said, because you step on the scale with bags of groceries on all that stuff you're still holding on to. My baby, the Lord can change all that as soon as you accept the Lord as your Savior. Think about it. You already did the prayer. You did the prayer 1,000,000 times in this one life at this point, but you still didn't change. There's people that's going and having they're promoting themselves getting baptized these days. But at the same time, after the baptismal, they come right back to social media and do the same thing, post their same particular baptismal video on all their platforms. My baby, so what happened to Romans 12:2? Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. When was the last time you read that whenever one of those intrusive thoughts came around? Think about it. At this point, it's almost 8 o'clock here in Texas. And here we are. A whole day has passed. You got to remember, today was your holiday. Everybody loves Friday. This is your favorite day. If I stayed on here until about midnight, you would post up with me. You would pull you up a drink or whatever the situation is, and you would let this wisdom hold you hostage, because some of y'all are connected to the bloodline that I came from. And that's the only reason why I have your attention. It's not that you attracted to me or nothing like that. It's because your little antennas on your particular bloodline still believes that you will have a chance. When in actuality, my baby, you don't have a chance, because I'm too focused on what God is giving me in this particular season. That's why it's so easy for me to come and let you know what it is that the Lord is saying about you, because who else is in your story that's trying to let you know about these things? Every day you walk out the house that you didn't pray, you don't have no relationship with the Lord. Think about it. The Lord been trying to save you. Some of y'all done got in car accidents, you heard me, then came out and still don't even confess nothing from the Lord. Jared, my brother, it's beautiful to see you, my brother. I'm gonna reach out to you, you heard me. I miss you, man. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to check on your mental, my brother. Think about it. You believe that in that life where you have no responsibility, yeah, you got some children, but you don't have no responsibility, because the stuff that you're responsible to be doing, like for instance, you have a call on your life. There's people in this life, in this world, that's looking for you. Nobody ever told you that. You on the backside of 50. And nobody ever told you that. So remember, I'm not judging, my baby. You heard me? I'm just trying to show you the people that you've had around you all this time. All of those people that you have around you are involved with making sure that you don't accept your call. All of them, from the rooter to the tutor. Think about it. Nobody before you accepted their call, so you don't have a blueprint from any of them. But the person that sent you here, that's just like with the car. You got a car manual inside your car. You never read the car manual, but if the check engine light go on, you go ahead and take it in to go get checked. Well, that's the same thing on the body. If you're emotional, if you use emotions in that world, you got to think you be fussing with people in that particular world, and 99% of them don't even know who they are. So you'll fuss with them and use your emotion and bring your blood pressure up and still not realize that the emotions aren't real. Emotions are just a check engine light by the Lord to alert you of something that you still never gave to him. So who's talking to you about this? Who's bringing this to your attention? The people in that story are telling you that they love you, and you're telling them that you love them back. What is the love? My baby, you're a part of a business. And in that business, you're a part of a lineage that manipulates the next generation. So those of y'all who still not understanding about that hyphenated, I got some sisters I made mad with that. What you mean I hyphenated? My last name hyphenated. My baby, let's talk. Didn't you tell that man you think y'all should be married? And what he said, yeah, you're right. Let's go ahead and do it. That's your familiar spirit. He went on ahead and agreed with you. And in that agreement, now you agreed with exactly what the devil wanted you to agree with, to make sure that in that relationship, in that responsibility, you don't accept your call. Think about it. Some of y'all done had a husband that done died, and you still never accepted your call. Husband done died about 10, 15 years ago. You've been single all this time, and you still not understanding, my baby. So what if he done got married by the time you get up there? How that's gonna make you feel? You got to understand, down here, they're going to bury y'all together, but you don't know what's going on up there. Now, believe it. I believe what you believe, but you ain't going to just make me believe, you know what I'm saying, what you believe. I can give you a whole lot of different scenarios depending on where your mindset at, because whatever you think, I can give you a different thought. Because I love you. You heard me? I want to see you get, because the Bible talks about the Lord giving you everything your heart desires. I've been getting into that a little bit today. You heard me? I'm trying to figure out, what does my heart desire in 2025? In my story gave me that I'm an only child. In my story, my mother didn't get married. In my story, my father had 2 baby mamas. In my story. The beautiful thing about it is, it's just a story. At the same time, if you think about it, life is a story. Like right now, y'all are in my particular movie. And once you disperse, you go back into your movie. Or better yet, let's say you go and have brunch tomorrow. Once you pull up at whatever restaurant it is, you're now an extra in other people's movie. You're the person, you remember how you watch it on TV, got some people that's in the back that's, they doing their own thing. You're that person in somebody else's movie. Every person that you see is considered as an NPC, a non-player character. In order for that non-player character to have access into your world, you got to have a conversation with them. I don't want to lose you. Let me give it to you. Let me give it to you. I appreciate you, classy lady. It's an NPC. So I need you to understand that. A non-player character. In order for that non-player character to have, or better yet, non-player character or a backdrop person, because I was just giving you another information. You're a backdrop person in somebody else's movie. So let's say there's the bar up there, the bar is full, and you and your significant other, y'all sit at one of the tables. So you are an extra or a background person to the other people that's sitting at the bar. So on the reverse, they are background people or NPCs that's sitting that's in your particular movie. So what happens is, there's an NPC that's going to come and talk to you. That NPC is usually whoever the waitress is. Y'all have a conversation, but at the same time, you don't allow them into your story. You only treat them on behalf of the position that they have at that particular point in time. But let's break away from that because I want you to understand. So every relationship, you got to remember, everybody starts off as a stranger. To those of y'all that's on social media that don't understand the word social, and if somebody get in your inbox, you ask them, how do I know you? Where did we meet from? My baby, this is social media. You're supposed to be social. You heard me? If you're not social in 2025, that's telling me you don't have no relationship with the Lord, because just think about it. We supposed to, we are, there's people that are assigned to us that's looking for us, and I'm going to come talk to you to try to find out if you're a part of my tribe. You heard me? But with that response, nah, there's no way possible. My baby, I'm ready to know what life you living over there. You heard me? But anyway, let's keep going. Every new person becomes, well, every new person is just an NPC, a non-player character. In order for that non-player character to have a role in your movie, you have to have a conversation with them. So to my ladies that's out there, I need you to understand, and I need you to understand it well. Every male in transition in that world was a stranger at the beginning that you allowed into your movie. Now, whatever role that character came and played, you can't get mad at that particular character, because at the same time you allowed them into their movie, and you allowed them into your movie. So everything, every relationship that you've ever experienced in this life, it started off with your yes first. Do you follow me? Think about it. It started off with your yes. All cried, all them people that you told about what happened in your relationship. At the end of the day, everything goes right back to the beginning, the yes. You see that feeling that you feeling right there? Because you can stand. You didn't just do it one time. My baby, you did it every one of your relationships. But at the same time, you kept telling, or you kept believing that you've changed. My baby, you didn't change. You've never changed. The only thing that changed in that life was the calendar, the date on the calendar, because you just kept getting older. One of them got you pregnant. In the midst of it, you focus on the baby. Once the baby got to a certain age or whatever, you started dating again. As soon as you started dating again, you was in a hurry. Or better yet, some of y'all, before it's even, what it take, ladies, about 6 weeks before you can, you know what I'm saying, get you some action after you release, y'all was already counting the days to find you, because at the same time, you supposedly was vulnerable, and some new NPC that came into your story, and you was holding conversation where he watched you have that baby and all that, and by the time it was time for you to get busy again, he ended up getting you pregnant too. You was in a hurry to bring another NPC or another particular familiar spirit into your story to return the same cycle, and everybody watching you go through it. That's the reason why you still care about what they say, because you saying that you've done so much wrong. My baby, you ain't done so much wrong. They watch you do that. They knew that you was going to do it. That's what they wanted you to do, because at the same time, nobody going to tell you that the devil was just after you, my baby. But there's individuals that come to break every chain off that bloodline. And I'm in a season where if you're trying to get connected to me, and I can sense that that's not the direction that you're going on, my baby, you can only talk to me for so long, because at the same time, I see what's taking place. You're not going to persuade me to see anything differently. If you want to persuade me to do something different, showing me that you're going, that you hit a break, you break this and break that. You can pray all day. I love, they got some people out there that, hey, I'm sitting there listening to this stuff. You heard me. I'm blown away by it. But at the same time, there's a spirit of insecurity within that. Because if you got to try to beg somebody to tell their particular story, and they have all these puzzle pieces, they saying that they have this amazing relationship with the Father, but at the same time, they're insecure in the area. There's a reason behind that, because that's a spirit, and they're not even understanding that that's a spirit that's keeping them bound. How did y'all like that whenever it came to that NPC? You heard me. Y'all felt that? I see Miss Gloria like that. Miss Gloria, everybody in your world, my baby, they all start out as a stranger. Think about it. Y'all still go to church with individuals that you've never spoken to. Those individuals in the same church as you for the past 10 years, y'all all been in the same church and y'all ain't never spoke. Each person in the church has a puzzle piece for the other. That's just like when it comes to the big scam, the scam of the 9 to 5. Every person at your job has a puzzle piece for you, but y'all still never started talking about that. Y'all still want to talk about each other and talk about that how everybody's supposed to be doing you wrong. My baby, you're wasting time. You couldn't work at a 9 to 5 with me because I'm trying to figure out what I need from you, because everybody's supposed to teach each other something. Why have a story that you have and you scared to tell your story? But at the same time, an NPC or a familiar spirit coming to your store, you start telling that spirit exactly where to meet you. Does it make sense now? My baby, your whole life you've been telling the devil where to meet you. Every person that you've been connected with in every season of your life was just a part of the devil's scheme, because still, after all these years, you still haven't accepted the Lord, but all you do is continue to accept the things that the devil dangle in your face. Come on, my baby. You better than this. Hey, I need to go ahead and jump off this thing. They got another sister I need to go support her. Started about 8 minutes ago. You heard me. Listen, I'll be back up here. I appreciate y'all for all the gifts, all the thoughts, everything, all the prayers. You heard, man. I'm gonna go to the comment section as soon as I get a chance. You understand me? And I'm gonna be live again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I may stay a little longer tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Saturday night. So if you ain't going to the club tomorrow night, my baby, follow me. Come see me at about 7. I'm gonna have something for you. We're gonna go through Proverbs 3 at that point. You heard me? Y'all be safe, and man, listen, don't go get in no trouble tonight. You heard me? Hey, I see you. You heard me? Y'all be safe, man. We'll talk soon. God bless. Damn, that bitch got full. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. They had a nigga I watching. He just, wow, I don't even understand, my brother.